Hi!
Hello.
Hi guys, how are you doing? It is day 104 of lockdown, and it is, what day is it? Thursday, the 2nd of July. So yes, it's Thursday, which is Forza Crowd Day. So we were just, well not just on Forza Crowd, but not that long ago, 9 p.m, we did ourselves a little episode of Forza Crowd. So I was on it again. I still want to maintain everybody who watches that I want to just preface everything I say with, by the way, I'm not a comedian. But I think that would probably get quite tiresome quite quickly. But yeah, it has been pointed out to me that you are doing comedy shows though, so you sort of are, whether you want to be one or not. I'm not though. I'm so not though. So yeah, at some point I'll be reluctantly actually doing stand-up comedy. Yeah. Just on stage, be like, by the way, guys, I'm not a comedian. It's all just a terrible misunderstanding.
If it puts your mind at rest, she's not making any money from it.
No, I'm not.
Very much at an amateur level.
Yes. Oh God, yes. And maybe if someone offers to pay me, I'll do stand up. Yeah. Crowdfund it. If you pay me enough, I'll do it. How's that?
Speaking of things that we're doing without any qualifications, I've had a little arts and craft project.
Oh,
this
haven't
afternoon.
you? Haven't you, Babs?
I've been making badges.
Yes. I'm not sure if these can really be called badges.
Badges might be a stretch for what they are.
Just bits of paper and sellotape, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the reason behind these, obviously,
words on them, though.
Yeah, obviously we're behind the sentiment. I think that goes without saying. We've talked about Black Lives Matter a fair amount, and we'll continue to do so, as is our right. The reason why specifically today we've got Black Lives Matter badges on is that the BBC have made a strange ruling that people appearing on the BBC may not wear Black Lives Matter badges due to sort of balance.
And that's like presenters and guests. And
yeah.
Now,
I do understand that they are actually a bit, because they are funny about wearing badges for other causes as well. For example, I believe you aren't allowed to wear any charity badge. The only thing that is allowed is the poppy.
What about
I believe
Day?
Well, they do that, so that's their thing. But the sort of breast cancer badges, not badges, like bows and things. Apparently, you're not. I think somebody, I think it was Brian Dowling actually, got in trouble for wearing an AIDS charity. I think it was actually one of the bands. They're not just picking on Black Lives Matter, I believe, but I think they have kind of a blanket rule of no sort of political/charitable organisations, I guess, because technically it's advertising.
As a comedian, I guess some of it does come under balance and whatever, but we can't be going, come on, need to have balance. If you say Black Lives Matter, we'll need to get a racist on to balance it out. That's not. But as a comedian, obviously, I've worked sporadically for BBC, television, radio, and internet. But obviously, I would love more regular work from the BBC. That'd be helpful financially.
I would love you to have more regular work for the BBC too.
Oh God, it'd help us out.
We could do with
really
it.
Get us out of a financial hole.
Would really top up that 20% you've lost from your 3-day-a-week job, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And
BBC,
and all the rest of the money I've lost from not being able to do
If you're watching, this isn't direct criticism. It's just speculation as to what's going on there, guys.
That said, it is nice to be able to not have to work within BBC guidelines and parameters. Like, for example, when we call Tories cunts.
Because the awful thing about that is, does that mean I have to also then sort of say, well, all Tories are cunts, but also I can't even say it. I can't. No, I'm not saying it. You'll have to pay me to say that. Because it's basically, it was going to be that Labour are also, but I can't. I'm a member. I'm a member. I'll get kicked out.
One or two.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, there are. There are. I could name a few, but I won't. But let's not. Let's not. Sorry, did I lose your thread a bit for you there?
Yeah, no, it's nice not to have to kind of work to those BBC guidelines and be able to do things like this and make own little statements. But it is a kind of a good reminder as well, in a way, of kind of how quickly the news cycle moves on. And obviously there are still news stories about Black Lives Matter, but it's not as prominent in the news as it was a couple of weeks ago, and it's very easy to kind of get swept up in whatever comes next in the news cycle.
And then obviously you go quiet on the thing that maybe you shouldn't be quiet about.
And especially for a lot of white people like ourselves, you know, you get swept away in the new thing and you kind of think like, oh, I did something about that. I put a Facebook status up, or I did a thing, and I shared a thing, and you pat yourself on the back. But obviously there's a lot of people who it affects directly who can't just walk away from the issue or kind of move on to the next thing, or kind of they have to deal with it all the time.
Absolutely. So that's very much a privilege to be able to just go, right, yep, dealt with that.
Because the danger is otherwise you get it's sort of like black people saying, well, guys, we're dying here, we're being literally killed, and white people going, oh, well, good news, we've taken down an episode of Community, and to celebrate, we're listening to some hip hop. So, I mean, it's Eminem.
Don't know what you complained about. But
it's Eminem, but there's some black guys on the album, so that's good. And then the black people go, but guys, we're still literally dying, and we go, well,
I'll tell you
we've got
what,
some Beyonce here somewhere.
I'll take some Golden Girls episodes off as well. Will that sort it? That's sorted now, right? Yep.
And don't get me wrong, we're not, you know, lots of white people are very well-meaning, and some of the things that have been taken down, if it helps, then brilliant. It's not worth keeping it if it's going to cause upset. But it's kind of a side issue to the whole black people getting literally killed thing.
Yeah.
And
it's sort of, well, it feels like sometimes it's often with these things, it's a bit of a sideshow to detract. Like I mentioned it the other day when we were talking about sort of transphobia, of like the sort of people kicking up fake outrage about having to use phrases like pregnant people instead of pregnant women. It wasn't the trans community that was sort of campaigning for that. It was a nice gesture that someone made that was more inclusive to the trans community, and I'm sure it was welcomed and appreciated, but nobody was out there going, this is very important to our cause, because they've got such bigger fish to fry when it comes to sort of things that they would be campaigning for. But essentially it's done to stir up, aren't trans people sensitive kind of sentiments, and sort of essentially whip up hatred from people who would have otherwise been quite tolerant. Because obviously transphobes want people to side with them and think that the trans community are bad. And so by whipping up sort of fake controversy about maybe the trans community sort of essentially coming, like they're trying to make them come across like they're being oversensitive and demanding and they won't let you just say pregnant women anymore, and it's like they fucking will though. Like nobody out there is actually going, do you know what, literally I know many people who are fellow people on the trans scene and in the trans community who are being sort of subjected to hate crimes. But I tell you what, my most important thing that I give a shit about is that you refer to people who menstruate rather than women. Like, it's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. And I guess it's the same thing. It's sort of whipping up anti-Black Lives Matter stuff by sort of just whipping up the sort of general, oh, well, what's the problem? Like, we've taken down people are getting outraged because we've taken down some episodes of Little Britain. Like, well, maybe we could have just taken them down anyway, but I don't actually think anybody was going, do you know what, people are dying, but my first priority is to make sure that Matt Lucas sort of gets a bit of a reprimand. Like, nobody... It's not... That wasn't the goal. And it's not like we've dealt with it now.
The things that were the goal have not been dealt with.
No.
And, we don't have any easy answers to that, but it is important to keep
just keep banging on about it. It's the only thing you
present.
Can do, really.
I'll be honest, I had a bit of a crisis of confidence about these badges about 15 minutes before we were doing this, because I suddenly thought, like, I've made these, but what if there's like an official Black Lives Matter badge and some money goes to the cause or something, and maybe this looks like we're being cheapskates or we're not properly supporting it, we're just kind of... And so, but I had a bit of a Google, and Google image search shows loads of different Black Lives Matter badges and designs you can get from Amazon and eBay and all sorts. So I don't think there's like an official one, but like, if there is, again, let us know. Yeah. We're happy to be informed of things when we don't know them and we're wrong.
Please do.
For now, I think it's fine just going to be...
Essentially, we're making the point that other people are not allowed to wear a badge that says Black Lives Matter, so we're gonna. Admittedly, not the most sophisticatedly made. Sophisticatedly? That's not a word, is it?
And probably we don't have quite the same reach as many BBC programmes.
No, but that's putting it very kindly. But bless you. But yes, but we can, so we will. Essentially, I think is the thinking there of, well, people should, and it is very easy to sort of stop talking about these things when there's, and honest to God, this year, I've mentioned it before, but like, any one of the individual sort of big news stories would be the story of the year in any other year, but it's just fucking mental out there right now. So it is easy for something to sort of immediately be replaced by the next thing. And obviously, you can't just say the same thing every day about the same thing. But it is important not to just go, yep, I've dealt with that now. I've been an ally. I gave some money to one of those Black Lives Matter causes. I went to the march. I'm done. Which I know people probably aren't sort of thinking, oh, I'm done now. But there is an element of, well, what more is there to say? So I'll stop going on about it. But it's just like, well, we should still be going on about it because it's not fixed, it's not solved. And the idea that people are being told that they can't wear something that says Black Lives Matter in itself is, like I say, this is not that the BBC is particularly picking on the Black Lives Matter cause at all. They have a blanket rule which they have made an exception for poppies. I don't know particularly why poppies get to be the exception, but they have. And actually, I think even only with like Red Nose Day, I think only on Red Nose Day, you can't like sort of be just wearing them generally. I think it's sort of saved for that day. For anybody who is further afield, Red Nose Day is the day that is a big fundraising day for Comic Relief, which raises funds for lots of causes around the globe. It sort of originally started mainly being sort of for causes out in Africa, but actually they do all sorts of charity work at home as well. So there's one big day where they do a big, same goes for Children in Need. Actually, on the day of Children in Need, you can have Children in Need stuff, and on Red Nose Day, you can have Red Nose stuff, but the rest of the time you can't, because I think it's deemed as political or potentially offensive or upsetting, I guess, because like why anybody would go, you're wearing a breast cancer awareness badge, how dare you? But you know what, people are fucking idiots, and horrible idiots, quite a lot of them. So I guess it's just in the sense of we don't want to rock the boat, we want to sort of not offend anyone. Also, I guess there could be, I don't know, maybe someone's lost someone to breast cancer and they go, oh, what a reminder. But I sort of think, well, nobody's going to mind.
Political in some way. The BBC isn't supposed to be politically.
Yeah, I think if they represent one charity, they should be obliged to represent others, because technically they're giving them advertising, and because they're not paid for by advertising, I think it's maybe just so that they're not being deemed to sort of give something more of a platform than something else, I guess.
On the subject of BBC guidelines and BBC impartiality, seeing these stories today reminded me that I had written an article about BBC impartiality and how it kind of essentially neuters satire.
Yes, it was a very good article, actually.
More
examples of why you need to do more writing, because it's really good.
I wrote this a while ago, and I didn't really know what to do with it once it was done, so it just sat on my notes on my phone.
That's the thing I've done.
But I thought, well, I might as well put it out on my Facebook, which if you are friends with either of us, it's public on my Facebook wall, so I think actually, even if you're not friends with me...
You could put it on your stand-up comedian page. It's not a laugh a minute, but
that's true. Well, it's about comedy, isn't it? So it's related to that. If you are friends, so go check out my Chris Joplin stand-up comedian page for that. I'll make sure it's on there. Maybe we can put a link.
I will.
In the blurb.
If you put it on there, if you put it there, I will link it.
Lovely. And so, but it's just talking about how it's difficult to do satire when you're not supposed to have bias, and you're supposed to kind of
it's quite hard to do balanced satire, because surely the people who are in power are the ones you need to be sort of criticising.
I think kind of the best chance you've got is if you have like a panel show, then kind of you can have a right-wing comedian making some right-wing points with their jokes, and a left-wing comedian, and they can kind of have a bit of back and forth, and it's like, you know, those people, you know what views they represent, and they're individuals appearing with themselves. But if you have something like a sketch show with a writing team, or something that's supposed to be a bit more kind of a unified backroom team behind a kind of product in that sense, like, it's hard if there's not a consistent point of view to kind of have any effective satire.
Yeah, it sort of feels... well, like, I think you raised the point, but essentially it kind of makes... accidentally, if you're having to have perfect balance in satire, essentially it makes the point that they're all the same and you can't make any difference anyway. And actually it's just like, well, that's not really... If we can't critique the people who are in power making the decisions, nothing will ever change, and actually some things should change. Lots of things should change. So yeah, it's kind of, if you sort of give both sides equal ribbing, and equal praise, then the suggestion is that, well, they're both the same. And it's like, well, that's not true. So it's not accurate reporting. Like, this is the thing, because I actually... They have to have balance across the board, and Black Lives Matter would be a good example of this, because having people like Nigel Farage as sort of a face on, say, Question Time, and having someone like a Carla opposite him, it's like, no, racism and sort of anti-immigration rhetoric and stuff shouldn't be something that we worry about balance on, because essentially, surely the consensus is racism is bad. So that's not like you give equal platform to somebody who's going to spew racist
because the danger is you
and then have somebody who is an anti-racism sort of campaigner. They shouldn't have equal standing and platform.
The danger is it kind of, by giving
you're
them
normalising
that
racist bastards
normalising and legitimising their views by kind of giving them that platform. It's
absolutely zero justification for that, because it's not like racism is a political movement that we're like. I sort of get that, like, particularly like coming up to sort of election time, they've got to give equal opportunity to all of the parties to speak about their views, but like the idea that you have to have balance when it's an issue like racism or homophobia or transphobia, it's like, well, no, we don't get a bunch of transphobes on just to sort of pick on the trans community in the spirit of balance. Like, no, we don't. Surely we don't have to have a massive argument there. Like, maybe we're allowed to just have sort of the more politically correct and forward-thinking sort of viewpoints put forward without having to go, oh, well, we're going to have to just look at some awful people saying horrible things just because we said some nice things from some nice people. Like, it just seems bonkers to me that it feels like the spirit of balance has gone a bit too far, and they've sort of forgotten the point of why. I guess because it's paid for by a license fee, that's why all of these things are tricky if you're the BBC, because you don't get your money through advertising revenue. It's all paid for by the people, and I guess therefore all of the people demand equal representation, and unfortunately quite a lot of the people are racist dickheads. So if they see anti-racist sort of campaigner like a Carla, they're like, well, how dare they put him on and not have one of our boys on?
I want to say, by the way, I'm actually quite, broadly speaking, quite a big fan of the BBC as a concept
BBC.
and an institution.
People want to take it down, and I am not for that.
Big fan of a lot of its output.
But you can criticise something that you love to make it better. That's fine.
Obviously, the government and the Tories generally are always trying to kind of tear it down and get rid of the licence fee and reduce it and minimise it. And I just think, like, well, given the amount of effort they're taking to kind of tear it down and attack it, that probably is a sign that we want to look after it. Because
as far as I'm aware, the left haven't really ever gone on a big campaign to try and get rid of the BBC.
I do know some people on the left who kind of want to get rid of it.
Individual people, yes, sure, but actually as a party,
but no, because they kind of feel like they're in kind of, they're kind of a mouthpiece for the Tories, or they are biased towards, and they're obviously they're in a difficult position because they are reliant on the government to kind of keep renewing the licence fee, giving them their money. So it's hard to kind of maintain that balance,
it is really difficult, and they do get a lot of stick. Interestingly, though, sort of particularly around election time, they seem to get almost equal stick from both the right and left for being biased in the other one's favour. So I guess there is a sense of, you notice the things that sort of appear to be preferential treatment to the other side, and you maybe don't notice it so much when they're allowing a platform for yours. But so maybe they are quite good at being balanced about it. But I think, like, I get it. Like,
to point out its flaws, we're not saying.
Oh, very much an advocate of the BBC. I think it's absolutely, like, that's not to say it doesn't have flaws or things that could be improved, but as an institution, I think it's phenomenal, and I'm glad that we have it. And some of the work that has been created by the BBC is treasured worldwide, and that's something that we should keep and treasure.
Obviously, take our words with a pinch of salt, because we've already professed our desire for me to get paid work with them. So
yeah, that's true.
I suppose we've already expressed our bias, but I think I would have thought that anyway.
Yeah, no, you would.
Yeah, I would have done, of course.
But yeah, no, it's an internationally revered institution, like our NHS. So maybe we should treasure it and value it and treat it as such. So yeah, there we are. Yeah, so that's gone a bit heavy there, really. But you know, not like us, is it? The thing was, this was never actually supposed to be anything. I was going to say this is supposed to be funny, but it isn't really. Like we don't know what this is supposed to be, so it just goes wherever it takes us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think sort of we needed to address why we were wearing these, and obviously that then leads on to sort of what's going. You all right? We're keeping you up.
Yeah. Well, we were up till about 5 a.m. again last night, weren't we?
Always.
I don't even remember why. I'm sure there must have been reasons.
I was up later than you were, but I think we finished. I don't know, we'd already finished The Boys, hadn't we? Oh no, we were going to finish. I can't remember what finished it before or after we filmed yesterday. I think it might have been after actually, but yeah, we're just watching stuff.
Well, we watched a film, didn't we? But we started watching the film much later than we'd intended.
Yeah, but it wasn't that late. I think we just watched some stuff afterwards. It wasn't too. I don't think it was too bad last night. I was still up at 5, but that was because Totem was asleep on my chest, and I can't sleep lying on my back. But I'll get into bed and I'll be on my back, and I'll usually be looking at my phone. But then I actually sleep on my side or on my belly. But if there's a cat on your chest, anyone who's ever owned a cat knows you can't move if there's a cat on you.
When I was thinner, I could sleep on my back, and the more weight I carry, the less.
Sleep on your side.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about, but
you snore less when you sleep on your side.
Not. I think I snore less when I'm lighter as well. So I am not currently at sleeping on my back levels. So if a cat sits on me, then.
Well, that was it. I was there for ages. I was like, well, I'm not sleeping now. But I did just. I think like the cat actually got on me at about 4:45, and I think got off me at about 6:10. I was just like, all right, well, this is how I die. It's just, you know, that anybody who has cats knows that that's the rule. You can't. We have the rule in the house of literally like. I could be sat there and you could need something from me, like, sorry, can't, there's a cat on me. I was like, oh, fine, accept that. That's just accepted. Like, there are some people who like pick up their cats and get them off, and I'm like, oh, you're not a cat person. Like, because they look so outraged when you do. Like, they're just like, what the fuck? Like, particularly, Totem is such a entitled little prick. That, like, he just, like, yeah, would, like, if you move, he just, what is this sort of face? But yeah, it's also kind of, you do feel kind of honoured and chosen when they do come and sit on you. And I'll like it for a while, I'll be there stroking him and lovely, but like after a while, like just being in any one position, you're like, I hurt, this is uncomfortable, I need to move, but you can't.
But you were very trapped in one position in one place. But speaking of someone who has been a lot more mobile.
I know who you're about to talk about.
Stanley Johnson.
Oh, Stanley. Oh, Stanley's at it again.
The
father of the current Prime Minister. I love calling him the current Prime Minister because then it reminds me that he won't always be Prime Minister.
Guys.
But yeah, early on actually, when lockdown was sort of being bandied about but hadn't actually been implemented, Stanley Johnson basically said, I'll please myself. And I think that's a direct quote. Like, oh, you could use these things as guidelines, but I'll be pleasing myself, I can assure you, kind of bullshit. And yeah, he has been pleasing himself, because he's just hopped on a plane and buggered off to fucking Greece. And his justification for it is hilarious. So he's buggered off to Greece, right? You can't even fly directly to Greece at the moment. Greece have banned direct flights from the UK. They can't, I don't think, like sort of due to international laws, they can't actually say, you're not allowed to come here if you are from Britain, but they can ban international direct flights. So what he did is he got a flight to Bulgaria. For some reason, Bolivia and Bulgaria are interchangeable in my head. For some reason,
Ellie doesn't believe in Bulgaria. She doesn't think it exists.
I also said my head.
That's long been her and she thinks she has two heads.
She
doesn't have much prejudice, but she thinks she has two heads, and she doesn't believe in Bulgaria as a place.
Oh, yeah, that's... I do. I just wouldn't be able to point to it on a map because I'm an idiot. I can't... Oh, God, my global and actually, in fact, national geography is shocking. But I do have a better sense of direction than you do.
I've heard her in conversations go, lovely people, the Bulgarian. Shame they're fictional.
But yeah, so he popped over to Bulgaria and then got a flight, I assume he then flew into Greece. The reason being, he has a mountain villa in Greece. And he said he needed to check on it because He needed to check it was all COVID safe because they're all taking it very seriously out there. Now,
so seriously that they're letting foreigners come in and check.
The idea, like, because that suggests that he's saying like, oh, I had to check on it as it's a business. I doubt he's got that fucking villa on Airbnb.
Well, here's the thing.
And also, if somebody hires your villa from you to stay in it, like, because he said I had to go to make sure, like, I could get appropriate social distancing measures in place. The people who are hiring a villa to live in a villa don't have to socially distance because they're a fucking household. But anyway, it was bullshit. He just wanted to pop over to Greece.
I mean, clearly it's bullshit.
I want to pop over to Greece.
The claim he's making is he rents it out, and the claim he's making is he needs to make sure it's meets guidelines.
Yeah.
Now, clearly that's bullshit.
Oh, clearly. Like,
but
come on, guys.
Say we take him at his word.
Right, yeah.
On both of those things.
Okay.
Even then, I would say, Stanley Johnson isn't going to starve.
I'm sure he has people that could do that for him.
Well, if he takes a summer off and goes, you know what, this year we just won't rent it out. We'll just let that stand empty for the summer and do it again next year when things have sort of calm down a bit. I'm sure he's not going to starve because he's not picking up that rent. Second, no. I mean, he can afford a flight, 2 international flights. So he's doing better than us. As if that was in doubt. But second of all,
Shocker.
like, you can, if you own property, you can hire people to kind of look after
Service
it,
that
handle the
you.
renting out of it for you. You could find a company
in
Greece that
takes
care
manage that
of those
property
things.
himself personally. He's not popping over there to give it a good old deep clean.
But this is what
Come
I'm saying.
On, you're Stanley fucking Johnson.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is, even if we take him entirely at his word, like, there's still no excuse.
So,
no, I know, but even if we did, even if we believe his lies,
right.
Those lies still don't justify his actions.
No,
is the point I'm making.
No, well, it's like getting a fucking eye, like testing your eyes by driving. Like piss off.
It's like
how stupid do you think we all are? Apparently, very, and actually, seems like most of us are. So
well, it's like if I, I went home and I broke my mum's best china.
Yeah.
And she went, "What on earth have you done?" And I said, "Well, the thing is, I saw a yeti in the garden."
Right.
And so I went out to the shed.
Right.
In order to deal with the yeti.
Okay.
You go, well, I don't believe you, and it doesn't explain the broken china.
Yeah. That is clearly a lie. And it doesn't answer any of the questions that I had anyway. Essentially, he knows it's bullshit. He hasn't even constructed a good lie because he just wanted to go to Greece and just say that then, because no repercussions will occur. No repercussions occur to anybody who's to do with any of these fuckers. However, unfortunately, I can't say her name. I can't remember how to pronounce it. But a good old crony of the delightful Jeffrey Epstein has been arrested today. A long-standing, I think she's an ex-partner of his, but also she was sort of a long-standing, literally partner in crime. She's been arrested today. I'll have to double-check her name. I'll put it in the blurb because I can't remember what it was. But yes, so I have to say, because I've just started watching Filthy Rich, which I would highly recommend. I've only watched the first episode, and I actually think you should watch it. So maybe we should just start again and watch it through. But it's a Netflix documentary about Jeffrey Epstein and his crimes, and basically human trafficking and child sex crimes. It's really grim, but it has been alleged, and I think is fairly known, that Jeffrey Epstein was good friends with quite a lot of very, very powerful people and hooked them up with these young women, essentially. Which is why there was huge, nobody believed that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. He was in police custody, all of the cameras suddenly stopped working, and then, half an hour later, a man who was not on suicide watch and had was speaking to his lawyers to sort of construct his defence, suddenly popped his own clogs. Bullshit. He knows how to name names, and somebody had him offed. And so there's another one of his very close confidants has been taken into custody, and we'll see how long they last,
If
shall
I was
we?
arrested and thought I might go to prison, I think I'd find that quite scary. But if I thought someone might also come to kill me and I can't do it, that's the thing. Like, these people are terrible people. But like,
but we needed for them to have their day in court, because we needed to know what they had done, who else was involved, and somebody silenced him. Absolutely. Like, I know, like, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but come on, you saw the memes. Just the number of memes that did the round that would secretly get the message Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Because nobody believes that he did. Like, come on, it just doesn't hold water.
But this might sound stupid, right? Yeah. But like, because I'm thinking out loud. But,
so it probably will sound stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't need it.
But like, if they think that is what happened to Jeffrey Epstein, then obviously I don't know what you're supposed to do, because obviously if you have evidence against someone else, obviously in association with this, you arrest them, but then are you sort of condemning that person to then being killed in your custody because presumably whoever did it last time
it's a big loud message to anybody who knows anything to stay fucking quiet, isn't it? But that's very effective, and there are people who are the most powerful people on earth involved in this, that have been implicated but not proven, and essentially they don't want anyone to speak. Royalty have been implicated, high-level government officials in many countries, Hollywood A-listers. Basically, somebody had him offed, but I think there were quite a lot of people who were quite happy he was dead.
Oh, it's like an Agatha Christie.
But to be honest, obviously, I'm not shedding any tears over the death of Jeffrey Epstein. He was a wrong-un. An absolute wrong-un, and it was awful what he did.
One on a train where there are different jobs and you don't know who's done that.
But
or Knives Out.
Silencing him so that he can't implicate other people basically lets them off scot-free, which is a way. I'm going to pause this. Actually, you should watch Knives Out. It is really good. I'm going to pause this because Lucy is whining to be let out. So yeah, watch Knives Out. We'll be back in a sec.
Watch Knives Out and then crack on with the rest of it and we can discuss it together.
We are back. What did you think of Filthy Rich? No.
Knives Out.
You should watch For Filthy Rich too. But yeah, I did take advantage though of that brief hiatus. Basically, Lucy was whining, so she needed a wee, and she was just going to stand there and whine for the rest of the vlog.
I don't think she did need a wee. She didn't go for a wee. She just stood outside and came back in again.
But I did take that moment to check what the name of Jeffrey Epstein's confidant and ex, and I didn't know how to pronounce it, so I also had to check. And it is apparently pronounced Ghislaine or Ghislaine Maxwell.
Not to be confused with gilet, which is a sort of padded jacket without sleeves.
Yeah, but it's sort of spelt like Ghislaine.
Don't be having to go at any gilets, they're still broadly fine.
They'll do. Lucy's acting very odd, so sorry if I'm a little distracted. But yes, so it's her that's been arrested. She, after Jeffrey Epstein's arrest, went incognito and disappeared for a while. And so there was a big FBI investigation into where she was, and she has been arrested now. Sorry, there is a dog. Hello, Lucy. Oh, sorry, she's moving the whole table there and everything. Hi. Yes.
Hey.
So she has been arrested.
An exciting evening, hasn't she, Lucy?
She has, because one of the other guests on Fools a Crowd is the lovely Lucy Orchard, who is also very competitive. And I like her a lot. But obviously it did mean that people kept saying the name Lucy. And Lucy kept going, oh, what, me? Yes. And I was like, no, different Lucy Babs, it's okay.
Loving it, all these people saying Lucy at you.
So yeah, sorry, very distracting. She's being very affectionate all of a sudden. So yeah, I'm not just looking into Chris's lap.
Lucy is not Annie's nickname for my genitals. I think we've done that before.
We've done that joke before. I can't remember what we said that it was last time. But
no, and then you put it in the blurb, and then my dad did a little shocked reaction.
But yes, so I didn't even mean to talk about that, because actually I want to watch more of Filthy Rich, but obviously in Filthy Rich they're being very careful not to get into any legal trouble and implicate anyone. They did quite beautifully not mention his name, but when they were using sort of news footage of Jeffrey Epstein in the first episode, kept putting pictures of Jeffrey Epstein with Trump, and just be like, I'm not saying anything about that. That just happens to be the picture we've chosen. Make of that what you will. But yeah, also I think Prince Andrew made it into a few of them as well. But yeah, I'm sure there are many people that could be very badly implicated. So yes, I would highly recommend watching that. As I say, I've just started it and I want to watch more, but obviously it is a bit of a heavy watch because it's mainly it's sort of investigative journalism, so looking into the facts and of everything that's going on, but there's lots of sort of interviews with the girls that were involved. I believe it was almost exclusively girls, but basically vulnerable young women who were not only sort of recruited to give massages, but were also then paid very handsomely to recruit other girls. So actually there's a big long web of, and once you've implicated other girls, you can't really even come forward because you're complicit in crimes that have occurred, and very much girls that were vulnerable and usually underage, and it's all very creepy. And I'm only even on the first episode and just looking at the tip of the iceberg, but he was a very bad man and I shan't shed any tears over his death, but I do think it's a bit of a travesty that many people that could have been implicated by him will go essentially uninvestigated and unpunished. But that is not, I didn't even intend to talk about that.
Something I didn't intend to talk about.
Yep.
It's somebody who's been in the news today, is Katie Price.
Yes, Katie Price, what's she been up to?
So she's appeared virtually in front of a Commons petition committee, who presumably are in charge of dealing with petitions and stuff that come up, and she was sort of on talking to them about one of those, and she wants to kind of call for punishment, like legal recourse and punishment for online bullies.
Okay, I think that's valid and justified, and I dare say she's probably been on the receiving end of quite a lot of that in her career.
And also
regardless of what you think about Katie Price,
she's also in particular was saying like her son has been on
receiving
end of a lot of abuse, and he's not even someone in the public eye. He's never put himself in the public eye. He's kind of just been born into that.
Yeah.
And has received awful kind of ableist and racist abuse.
Yeah.
Which is obviously horrible.
For anyone who does not know why that would be the case, he's of mixed race. His father is black and Katie Price is white, and also he was born blind due to a congenital defect, I believe. Gets a lot of fucking hideous things said about him, and I think Katie Price has got quite a thick skin. Like you would have to sort of be as vehemently in the public eye as she is, doing what she does, and there's zero judgment for doing what she does. But I imagine it's very different when somebody is then being abusive towards your child. That's the point at which Mama Bear comes out, isn't it? Like when you're just like, hang on a minute, I don't care what you say about me, but you do not get to say that about my child.
She's also not just talking about her own immediate family, she's sort of talking more generally as well. And yeah, I mean, statistics show that online abuse has been massively increased during lockdown.
Of course.
And that's not surprising at all, because we've all been stuck in the house, we haven't had our usual distractions, we've been spending a lot more time online as a people, as a society, and also there's a lot of contentious issues in the news and in the press,
and everybody's in this heightened state of emotions are running high for everyone.
But I've seen some absolutely horrendous kind of abuse held around, and it's not called for, and it's very unpleasant.
Oh God. We have I won't go into any detail of any kind, but we've alluded to being fairly anxious, and a part of that has been due to the online bullying that we have witnessed.
And it's all over the place on Twitter and Facebook and all.
And coming from all angles and lots of different targets. We're not speaking necessarily about a specific cause,
issue,
but it's very upsetting, and it does go unchecked. It's very difficult, I think, to police what people say and do online, because you do cross boundaries of like, well, if I say something on my own personal Facebook page, then there's the idea of like, well, it's free speech, I can say what I like, people can choose to unfollow me or block me.
And also, like, there's
and same with Twitter,
lines where kind of one person might say, well, this is slander or abuse, and another person might say, well,
it's just my opinion,
I've got a reason to be kind of angry with this person, I shouldn't be silenced, or I'm you know, I've got a valid point, or especially in the, you know, the society where people are trying to speak up more about things, be it Black Lives Matter or kind of hashtag Me Too and all those things, where there's legitimate cause, and you don't want those things to be quashed because of sort of rules or whatever. But certainly it does seem like there's a lot of online bullying that isn't anything to do with any of that stuff.
And actually sometimes those causes can be used as an excuse to sort of forward personal agendas. And that I essentially think is abhorrent behaviour that damages the cause and really personally upsets me. But I imagine is quite upsetting to a lot of people. So it's inexcusable as far as I'm concerned. But I will not say too much more.
I've looked into this a little bit, and obviously while there still need to be tighter controls around online bullying, and that's what Katie Price is asking for here, there are certain practices, sort of subsets within online bullying that are actually illegal and prosecutable. And for example, doxing, which is the practice of taking someone's private personal information and putting that into a public space online where it could be used to kind of
essentially with the intention of it being used for
sort of hurt or damage
hurtful purposes. Well, it has happened. Like, it's actually new. Like, it's not just online that this happens, because actually there have been cases where newspapers have been taken to court for essentially doxing people because they've published contact information for known paedophiles, for example. Like, let it be said, I am not one to jump to the defence of paedophiles, but what you can't be encouraging is essentially vigilante justice by publishing this information and going, do with that what you will, knowing full well people are going to go crazy. And we can't have people taking the law into their own hands. If somebody has been through the legal system, essentially you have to trust that that will have been handled and the facts will be known. And but yeah, doxing people is a dick move. And not only is it even if they're a dick, even if they're a bad person, like, it's still you have no control over what people will do with that information, and that is on you.
Not only is it a dick move, though, it is literally illegal and prosecutable. So be careful of that. I mean, not that I thought any of you were about to go out around doxing, but like, I think like it's good to be aware of the issues, and so if you see it or if you're a victim to it, it's not cool. No. But funnily enough, Katie Price came up in a conversation we were having the other day, didn't she?
Did she?
Do you remember?
You'll have to remind me.
We were talking about the film About Time.
Right, yeah.
Which is a Richard Curtis movie. It's a film I think that we both enjoyed.
I really loved it. I had never heard of it, and we watched it sort of at random because we were babysitting. So this was pre-lockdown. We were babysitting for a child of a friend of one of your friends, and so kid was in bed. Had to sort of watch stuff that was on, and so I think it was on Netflix, was it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lovely little Richard Curtis film. That very heartwarming, a bit of a tearjerker.
He's known for his kind of romantic comedies. I guess you could superficially say it's a romantic comedy. It's also a kind of very light science fiction film, but I think it's mostly about the relationship between father and son.
Yeah.
And I really love it, but it's not a film without flaws. No. I think the main sort of female lead is kind of underwritten.
Oh, she's quite two-dimensional. She's essentially lovely and charismatic and sort of, Richard Curtis, leading lady,
But like in the film, she
doesn't have a lot of substance.
She is a big fan of Kate Moss.
Yes.
And so the leading man of the film, the star of the film, he pretends to like Kate Moss in order to kind of win her around, essentially, and which I struggle to imagine that anyone is that much of a fan of Kate Moss, but I presume that is the case. They have whole photography exhibitions dedicated to her and stuff. I presume that wouldn't happen if there weren't enough people who were interested in her to do that. But what I think is I think a lot of people have in their time either pretended to like something or exaggerated how much they like something in order to kind of...
Oh, we've got common ground and common interests and all of that stuff,
and then, you get to know each other better and find out the things you really do have in common, and maybe...
You did not talk about wrestling much on our first date, but I discovered how much you loved it later.
But I didn't... on the flip side of that is I don't think I pretended massive interest in anything that you then subsequently went,
No.
I had to back down and be like, actually, I
I
never
don't know what
actually
I'm
want to
doing.
do
Like,
that.
it would have been quite funny if you'd been like, oh yeah, I did loads of escape rooms, mate, and I'd be like, well, okay, first date escape rooms, and you'd be like, oh shit.
Yeah, but
yeah, sorry.
So we were talking about, and I was thinking that, all right, you might pretend to like something to impress a girl or exaggerate how much you like something, but I don't think models are a good choice for that, because I think that some men and some women enjoy models in different ways.
It's
like,
I would be a bad example to use because of the slightly fluid sort of sexual orientation. But if I say, I really love Kate Moss, and there's a photography exhibition of some of her work, I'm really looking forward to seeing that. And you say, I really love Kate Moss, I think she's brilliant. I'm going to be probably thinking, you don't mean that in terms of you think of her, like you're really impressed with her modelling skills. It's probably that you think she's fit.
And Katie Price came up as another example, because there are obviously a lot of women who admire Katie Price, enjoy her reality TV shows, read her novels.
She's a shrewd businesswoman and all that jazz.
But if, as a woman on a date with a man, you go, I'm a big fan of Katie Price, and then the man goes, what, yeah, Jordan, I'm a big fan of her too. I don't think you necessarily think, good, he probably also enjoys her novels.
Yeah.
You probably think, I don't really need to know what it is that you wank to just yet.
It has different connotations, which seems like, and it's such a strange choice, writing-wise, because I suspect that maybe just Richard Curtis really likes Kate Moss. But
it's either that, or my other theory was maybe there was an exhibition on at the time, or there was some sort of product placement, or sort of her agent had pushed for it. It's
strange choice, but for of all the things that it could be, like, I would have, if I were writing Richard Curtis films, I would make it like an artist that she likes, or because then you can go to a gallery
where there's an exhibition of the arts,
or a band that you like, go to a concert, that kind of thing. Like, it's very easy to write something that what's something that someone could like.
Very easy to write a Richard Curtis movie, actually, Richard. So why don't you do them better next time? As I say, we really enjoyed the movie.
A friend of ours, Steffan Alun, does a beautiful routine. I don't know if he actually still does it because it was part of an Edinburgh show. That just about the film Love Actually, which I don't know if you've even seen. Have you seen it? Yeah. It's like, I sort of fondly enjoyed Love Actually, and at the time I thought, heartwarming, lovely, romantic, and I'm quite ambitious to have so many different sort of interlocking love stories, etc., and sort of about different types of love and all of that. Really, fine. On sort of looking back at it, there are problematic things within Love Actually, but there's also gaping plot holes. And Steffan Alun does a brilliant routine on it, so I hope maybe it's online somewhere, and if it is, I will find it, but I don't know if it is, because it was part of an Edinburgh show. But you should watch Steffan Alun's stand-up, he's brilliant. But yeah, it's sort of, oh God, we're really going on. We should shush.
I didn't like to interrupt you when you were kind of essentially plugging a good comedy friend of mine whose stand-up you should watch.
It's brilliant.
But we should also wrap up.
Yeah.
So,
also, I just want to say as a little teaser for tomorrow, today, for no reason and without cause, Chris voluntarily ate cat biscuits.
Well,
nobody told him to. He just did that of his own volition.
It wasn't without cause, but anyway.
Just so, if you want to find out what that was about, come back tomorrow.
Bye then.
Then he gets his right to reply tomorrow.
There's no shame in it.
There's some shame in eating cat biscuits.
There's no shame in it.
Bye guys, like and subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.